Hello Stitchy friends and welcome to my Flosstube channel. My name is Kenzie from Mudpuppy Stitchery. I am a cross-stitch designer, I am a bird nerd and a wildlife lover, and I enjoy doing all of the crafty things. So if you're new, welcome. I hope that you like what you see, and I hope that you'll continue to follow up with me on all of my future videos. And for my current subscribers, thank you so very much for your continued support. I greatly appreciate it. So I hope you've been well. It has been a couple weeks since my last video, and I wanted to send a huge thank you to all of you who reached out to me with love and prayers for my family. We've been dealing with some serious health issues, and I'm also dealing with some job frustrations. So these past couple of weeks have been full of anxiety and stress. So I really appreciate everyone who has been sending my family and I well wishes. It really does mean a lot and has helped in this frustrating situation. I wish I was at a point where my pattern designing could support me full-time financially, but we are not there yet, and I've got some growing to do before that happens. So I think it's something I can work towards and hope in the future. But I also wanted to say a huge thank you for the wonderful shout out I received from the Hathaway Stitchers in their most recent Flosstube. They chatted about my channel, and Amity, who is the extremely talented designer for Boomerang Stitches, was interested in doing a collab with me sometime in the fall, and I am so excited to get to design something with her. You can now find her printed patterns at Lindy Stitches, which is absolutely amazing, and I am so proud of her for hitting that huge milestone. And once I get some more of my pieces model stitched, I'm hoping to follow in her footsteps and start getting more of my printed patterns out in some bigger shops. So please go check out the Hathaway Stitchers. I've linked their channel down below, and thank you so very much for the incredibly kind shout out. Speaking of model stitching my designs, I'm so incredibly lucky to have had several people reach out to offer to model stitch my designs. And it's now in the works, and I am extremely excited. So as I start to get into the fully finished pieces so that I can photograph them, I'd like to feature the wonderful people who stitched them for me. I recently received one fully finished stitch from Bethany, who was able to stitch up my cedar waxwing piece, and it turned out fantastic. And I'll make sure to include some photos here. Bethany has just started a Flosstube channel called Bethany Rudda the Bird Stitcher, and I'll make sure to link her down below as well. So please check out her channel and subscribe and show her some support. But I was able to photograph her stitched piece, and it will be on the front cover of my cedar waxwing chart, and I'm really excited with how the photo turned out. So that's been pretty exciting, and within the past couple of weeks I was also able to design a new bird stitch called Gold Among the Flowers, and this piece features both male and female American goldfinches. I'm really pleased with how this one turned out, and I'm excited to see it fully stitched up sometime, hopefully soon. It was definitely a really fun pattern to design, and I'm looking forward to designing more bird charts. Gold Among the Flowers is now available in my Etsy shop, which will be linked down below as well. And with that all out of the way, I'd like to show you one of my finished stitched pieces, and that is I Stitch by Teresa Kogut. This is actually a freebie pattern that you can download right now, and I'll make sure to link it down in the description box below. But this was a really fun little stitch, and I really enjoyed it a lot. So it was stitched on an 18 count Oaken by Picture This Plus Fabrics, and I completely chose my own colors, and I'm really happy with how the skirt colors turned out. The mustard color is a DMC, but the two main colors are Weeks Dye Works Holly and Weeks Dye Works Bayberry. So it's such a pretty combination. I'm not entirely sure how I'm going to fully finish it, but I'm thinking about filming how I do it and uploading that as my next video if enough people are interested in seeing that. So I think that would be pretty fun. And just to note, I do have a couple cross-stitching finishing videos that I've filmed, and that'll link down below as well, so definitely check those out. There's one that I did, which is probably one of my favorite unique finishes, where I glued my cross-stitch piece to a flat glass jar and filled it with river rocks, and it turned out so cool. So I'll link that down below. But if you have any creative ideas on how I should finish this, please let me know in the comments down below. And if I can't think of anything creative, I might just turn it into another hanging ornament, which is pretty fun too. But we shall see. And this is I Stitch by Teresa Kogut. Let's move into some of my WIPs that I worked on for the past couple of weeks. My first WIP is called Moggy Manor by the Blue Flower, and I actually have the cover page right here. And it's this very beautiful design that I'm trying to have finished by the end of this year. So I think it's very doable. I just need to keep working on it. So this is being stitched with an 18 count old gold by My Vintage Needle Arts on Etsy. And I am absolutely loving the color of this fabric against the thread colors. I'm choosing my own floss colors, and I think it's turning out really well. You'll notice it looks completely different than the cover photo, and that is because this is going to be a piece that honors the dogs in my life that have passed away. So I'm changing all of the cats in this piece to dogs, and I'm going to be adding their names instead of the quote in the center. I worked on the top left corner from this part inwards and have just about hit the center portion. So there's going to be two little miniature poodles right here and right here that are leaning against these big flowers, and I think it's going to look so cute. One is named Hannah, and the other's name is Topi. There's also going to be a little Westie named Duncan sitting right in the center here, and so I need to work on designing the dogs. And I also need to work on designing the names that will go in this box. But at the bottom, you can see two little cavaliers that I added, and this is Heidi, and this is Zoe. And they look so good. I'm really pleased with how they turned out. You'll definitely be seeing this piece a lot over the next 6 months because I want it finished and on my wall by the end of the year. So this was Moggy Manor by the Blue Flower. Before I hop into more of my WIPs, I'd like to move on to another segment called Wildlife Minute, where I give a little talk on wildlife, biology, animals, or anything that strikes my fancy. So hopefully you'll learn something new today, and it will encourage you to take a deeper dive into the wonders of the natural world. But if you're only here for the stitchy things, feel free to skip ahead. Hello, this is Wildlife Kenzie, and today we'll be talking a little bit about the beautiful American goldfinches. These bright and cheerful birds are common around backyard bird feeders and are a welcome sight in spring after a long winter. During the spring and the summer, the males are a bright canary yellow with beautiful black and white wings, and the females sport a duller yellow plumage with a black and white wings and tail. The males don't always look this way though, and considerably dull down after a fall molt while they get ready for the long winter ahead. It's in the late winter when they molt a second time into the bright yellow plumage that we know and love. These birds wait to nest until early to mid-summer, a lot later than other songbirds. And they eat only seeds and no insects, and so they wait to nest until most of the plants have produced their seeds in June and July. They'll eat most seeds including sunflower seeds, milkweed, and thistle. American goldfinches are considered songbirds, and songbirds have several adaptations in common. One is their grip. All songbirds perch in a distinctive way, usually with 3 toes facing forward and 1 toe facing backwards. This particular type of perching foot is called anisodactyl. A second adaptation that songbirds have is their extreme control of their syrinx and the muscles around it. And a syrinx is the vocal organ that helps birds produce sound. It sits at the base of the windpipe, and they vibrate the membranes inside to produce beautiful sound. There are around 4,000 types of songbirds, and funnily enough, even corvids are considered songbirds. Corvids are a family of birds that include crows, ravens, jays, and magpies. Definitely not what you would originally expect as a songbird, but technically speaking, they are a songbird. To sum up, American goldfinches are beautiful and bright, and definitely a crowd favorite with their bright yellow plumage. I hope you learned something new today about American goldfinches, and let's head back to the stitching. Alright, welcome back. The next WIP that I worked on was Jane Atkinson by the Scarlet Letter. And this is definitely the biggest piece in all of my WIPs that I'm working on. It's a total of 290 by 460 stitches, and it's being stitched on an 18 count vellum by Picture This Plus Fabrics, which is a nice, really peachy pink neutral. And I just love how it's turning out. And it's always very difficult to put down, because it's one of my favorite WIPs. This time I worked on stitching across the top of this tree so that I could block out this top section of the text and try to fit some song lyrics in there. So it seems like between this piece and the last piece, I've got a lot of designing I need to do. But blocking this out will help me know how much empty space I have and how many words I can fit in here. So I think it's gonna look great. I stitched a little bug and a little mouse and came down all the way on the left-hand side and worked on some of these leaves right here. I was able to outline a big flower, but I needed to move on to another WIP, so I didn't get a chance to fill it in yet. Towards the bottom portion where the Adam and Eve are, right here and right here, I'm going to be switching those out for more animals. So definitely a kangaroo, and probably adding a Mudpuppy in there somewhere, because of course I have to. So like I said before, this will be in my WIP rotation for several years, and so I hope people don't get sick of seeing it, because I'm definitely not getting sick of stitching on it. My last WIP that I worked on was the Lola Crow Extraordinary Bird Stitch Along. And I am woefully behind on the stitch along because several of the bird portions have come out and I haven't even finished the aviary. So this is on my to-do list to really buckle down and to try to get caught up because I don't want to get too far behind. But this is being stitched on an 18 count evergreen by Fiber on a Whim Fabrics, and it is looking great on this fabric. I was able to finish the barn owl, and I was surprised at how much the backstitch really helped with making it look more barn owl-like. I'm usually not a fan of backstitch because I think it can make pieces look dated, but in this instance it really gives the subject definition and adds to the overall look. So I'm basically complete with the top portion, and I've started working on my way down towards the bottom portion, which I'm hoping will go a little bit faster. There's a lot of color changes in this piece, but it really adds a lot with the shading. So you'll definitely be seeing a lot more of this piece in the future, and I'm hoping I can get this done as a finish within the next 6 months. But if you're thinking of wanting to join the stitch along, I'd say there's still enough time to get started, so I'll make sure to leave a link of where you can buy the pattern down below. My last project that I've been quite obsessed with for the past couple of weeks has been a new crochet project that I started, and it's from a pattern by Daisy and Dime on Etsy. And it's called the Foxglove Wrap Top, and it's this beautiful crochet top, and I absolutely love it. I'll make sure to show a picture of what it's supposed to look like because mine is definitely not there yet. The pattern is beautifully written with really nice photos, so I highly recommend checking out her patterns, and I'll make sure to link them down below. And she's got an awesome crochet channel on YouTube, so if you're interested in that, I would definitely give her a watch. I bought a couple of her patterns because there was a sale, and I also bought the Ellie blouse and the Snapdragon dress. So I've been stitching on my wrap top with this K&C Essential Wool in the color Cream. And unfortunately, this is a Joann's exclusive yarn, and I actually ran out of yarn and had to order more from another Etsy seller who had 5 more skeins of the same color. So I decided to try it on for you guys, and so this is how my wrap top is turning out. It is turning out all right. I think I'm having some fit issues, which is completely user error and not reflective of the pattern quality at all. So I'm still pretty new to crochet garments, and I forget how much crochet stretches. So I had stitched the shoulder portions way too long, which made it not fit very well. I was able to sort of fix that problem by doing something quite unconventional and probably not the best idea, but it kind of worked, so I wanted to mention it. Because the shoulders were too long, I needed to pinch in the shoulders and sew in a seam across it so that it sat better on the chest portion, and it looks so much better after doing that. So I just used my sewing machine and sewed a strong seam across the top of both sides, and then cut the excess yarn right at the top. So I haven't tried to finish it yet, finish the inside edges. You can kind of see that right there. And I'm not entirely sure the best way to do that. So we'll see if this even holds up in the wash. But I'm kind of treating this project as a sort of mock-up so that the next time I stitch this pattern again, I'll hopefully have a little bit more insight into what I need to do to make it fit better. But I'm currently working on the sleeves, and I don't think I'll have enough yarn to do the full bishop sleeves like in the picture. I tried to substitute it with flutter sleeves, but I don't really like how that's looking, and so I'm going to undo that and try to stitch on little capped sleeves. And then it should be done. So I'm hoping when I block it, I can get the bottom lacy portion to stretch out just a little bit more, because it's a little short on my long torso. So hopefully I can get that fixed. But overall, I think it's a pretty good first try at the pattern, and I'll definitely be stitching this again. And I'll make sure to link her down below so you can check out her Etsy and her YouTube channel. And that is all that I have for you today. I hope you enjoyed today's video, and if you did, please like the video, please comment down below, and check out my Etsy page, which will also be linked. And please follow me at Mudpuppy Stitchery on Instagram to keep an eye on what I'm doing in between videos. I appreciate you so very much, and I hope to see you in a couple weeks. So take care, do some bird watching, and stitch all of the things. Bye!